Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Prandl. You might be thinking that I sound a bit different today. And you'd be right. That's because, believe it or not, what you're hearing right now is not my actual voice. That's right, you're actually listening to a clone of my voice built by AI. How crazy is that? I'm sure you've heard of 11 Labs by now, or at the very least you've probably heard one of the voice clones from this website without even realizing it. Obviously it's not going to sound perfect, but it's amazing what we can do with technology these days. The version that I'm using right now is called the Instant Clone. It's the less accurate cloning process, but it's something I can use to get started while I wait for the professional clone to be finished in the next few weeks. Now you might be wondering why I'm cloning my voice in the first place. The reason is because I live in a pretty crowded home right now, so I don't always have the quietest environment to record videos in. Not to mention I'm a pretty self-conscious person, so I always hate making videos when I know there's someone in the house that could be listening to me. I know it's silly. But being able to just type out a script and have a voiceover ready to go with just one click is really awesome. Especially since I work a third shift job, so when I'm off, I'm usually up late at night. So it's hard to record a video while everyone else in the house is asleep. I don't want to bore you guys too much with this intro. I just wanted to explain what's happening and test out this voice clone. I'm really amazed with how the instant version came out, and I can't wait to hear how much better the professional one will sound. So just bear with me while we adjust to the new stuff. I hope you enjoy today's video, and I will see you all in the next one. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Prandl, and I have a question for you. Are you afraid of the dark? Because I am. The darkness is super scary.
Darkness.
But luckily for us, there once was a TV show that we could channel all of our collective fear into, and it just happened to be called Are You Afraid of the Dark? Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or AYOTD, for those of you that want to Google this show, without typing that long name over and over, was a children's horror anthology television series that came out in 1992. Wow, this show is as old as I am. Originally made for Canadian audiences until Nickelodeon acquired it in 1991. Shows like this, and Goosebumps, were the first introduction to the horror genre for me and countless other kids. I think Are You Afraid of the Dark was a lot scarier than Goosebumps, although they were very similar when it came to acting quality and the general 90s era campiness that both these shows had. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite episodes from the series. An episode that ironically scared me the most growing up. I actually used to have nightmares about this one. The episode that I'll be discussing is titled
The Tale of the Midnight Madness.
The episode starts off like every other episode, with a group of kids called the Midnight Society, gathering around a campfire to hear a scary story. Tonight's storyteller, Frank, sets up his story by talking about movie theaters, and how easy it is to blur the line between reality and fiction. The story begins with a historical theater known as the Rialto. The Rialto is old and a bit run down. Rather than playing the newest blockbusters, this theater is known for playing classic black and white films instead. We're quickly introduced to our two main characters, Pete and Katie, who are both employees at the Rialto. Pete really loves the old theater and considers it a landmark, while Katie just sees it as a job. Their manager, Mr. Christoph, is frustrated with the lack of profit and is under the impression that the owners will most likely sell the Rialto soon.
Hey, do you really think they're gonna shut us down?
I don't know. But I'm applying for a job over at the Quad.
The Quad, that's a multiplex.
And it's got lines around the block. I need the job.
Determined to save the old theater, Pete goes out and tries to raise awareness that the Rialto should be saved as part of the town's history.
Pete loved the old theater.
Unfortunately, people in the town don't really seem all that interested in watching old movies anymore. And the next few days drag on like usual, until the Rialto receives a rather unexpected visitor.
We're not open for an hour.
Let me in. Let me in.
Yo, come back in an hour.
Who are you?
Vink's the name. Dr. Vink.
Dr. Vink is a recurring character on this show, usually as an antagonist or just the creepy old guy moving the plot along. Vink has come to the Rialto in hopes to help save it. At least that's what he wants Pete and Katie to believe. In this story, Dr. Vink is a filmmaker. Not really sure why he's still considered a doctor, but whatever.
What is this? Who are you?
Vink's the name. Dr. Vink.
Whatever you're selling, I'm not buying.
My good man. I've come to save your theater.
Vink is convinced that if the Rialto plays one of his movies, that it will be an instant hit, and he even offers to let them show the film for free.
Show my film in your theater, and people will flock to see it. Your fortunes will turn. As for payment...
Here we go.
I don't want money. All I ask is that once your success is assured, you give me one night a week of your choosing to show my other films to the public.
Mr. Kristoff agrees to Dr. Vink's request, even though he thinks he's a total nutbag.
I am not a nutbag.
Even though Kristoff agreed to show Vink's film, it ended up sitting on a shelf for weeks, until one night the movie they were screening malfunctioned, leaving Pete with no option but to try out Dr. Vink's movie.
Got an idea.
Real quick, I want to talk about this man right here. The actor that plays Nosferatu in this episode is Christopher Heyerdahl. Strangely enough, this man's career has followed me for my entire life. Starting with this episode, Christopher has had roles in so many of my favorite films and TV shows. In my favorite show, Supernatural, he played the demon known as Alistair. He was even in Twilight as the Volturi named Marcus. Hell on Wheels, like The Last of Us. He was even in The Haunting Hour as this terrifying character called the Collector.
Who are you?
Someone who's not going away, no matter how deeply you breathe. And out. And out. See? I'm still here.
Good God, this was a kid's show? Anyway, Christopher is easily one of my favorite actors, and I love that he's had a part in so many of my favorite projects. But back to the episode. So Dr. Vink's horror film was a smash hit, just like he promised it would be.
Show more classics like that, kid, and you might get a couple more customers.
Part of what made the movie so unique was that in this story, the monster actually wins. Dr. Vink's movie did so well that the owners decided not to sell the Rialto Theater, and they were even able to start screening modern movies. Dr. Vink eventually returned to see the progress that his movie had given them, and to make sure the manager would keep his end of their bargain.
It's time we made a deal for that masterpiece of yours.
I believe we already have a deal. You promised me one night a week to show my other films, did you not?
You want a rental fee for your movie? Fine. But you are not getting this theater. End of story.
Dr. Vink ominously tells the staff that bad things tend to happen to those who don't honor their agreements.
Story is far, far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning.
Later that night, while Pete is watching the film, Nosferatu himself comes right out of the screen. And this scene is what caused me to have nightmares as a kid. I remember having countless dreams where that vampire would come crawling out of my TV to get me.
I just had the weirdest dream.
What?
I thought I saw Nosferatu step out of the movie.
I think you've been working here too long.
Nosferatu wastes no time going after Mr. Kristoff. Pete and Katie hear a scream come from his office. And when they find him, it's obvious he's been bitten.
Pete, what is going on?
It's Dr. Vink, it's gotta be. He's trying to scare us.
Well, he's doing a good job.
Pete and Katie try to run for help, but are quickly cut off by the snaggle-toothed vampire. While trying to escape, Pete gets an idea to get rid of Nosferatu once and for all.
Thread up the last reel and project it.
Why? What are you gonna do?
Probably something stupid, but I gotta try. Yeah, when it's ready.
Pete's plan is to lure the vampire back into the movie so he can destroy it. I gotta say, the visual effects of going into the film and everything changing to black and white was really cool, especially for a 90s show. Nosferatu follows Pete back into the film, and when all hope seems lost,
I saw this film, and I know how it ends. And I'm doing it right.
Pete manages to destroy the vampire with sunlight. Pete escapes the film, Mr. Kristoff is okay, and everything seems fine. Until...
I've just purchased this theater.
You what?
Oh, yes. Now I can show my films every night. And believe me, I've got many, many more that are far better than this one.
And that was The Tale of the Midnight Madness. It wasn't quite as scary as I remember, but the makeup on Nosferatu is still nightmare fuel. I had a lot of fun going back and taking a look at this show. Are You Afraid of the Dark will always hold a special place in my heart, and I really want to make more videos of other episodes. If you enjoyed the video, please do me a huge favor and leave a like on it. If you're not already subscribed but you want to see more videos like this one, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out and you won't miss any more content. I can't wait to see you all in the next video. As always, this is Prandl, and this is goodbye.